Radiation Safety and Control Services has developed some exciting new technology to help assisting RAD workers in training on using Frisker and alpha probes. This exciting technology is patent pending, and it is used to more realistically simulate the response of both Friskers and alpha probes to surface contamination. I'm going to do a demonstration here using a real meter that's fielded by the U.S. government, along with these two simulator probes that have also been opted by the U.S. government for this. To demonstrate the use of our simulated Frisker probe with our transducer technology that's used to gauge the distance to a surface. And in this scenario, we've gone ahead and set up our training control unit, and it's meant to emulate surface contamination of strontium-90. This training control unit will send the contamination level in counts per minute to the probe for readout on this real meter. And as you can see, right now we're set to background levels, and the readout on the meter is displaying that accordingly. So in this situation, we would have the instructor watching the trainee and watching them move the probe across the surface until we get into what would be a designated area of contamination, which we'll say is right here on this surface. And at that point, as the trainee moves the probe into that designated area, the instructor can go ahead and hit an increased contamination level, which is set for 5,000 counts per minute. Now, as the student backs the probe up away from that surface contamination, we have an automatic algorithm that's set to emulate strontium so that we would decrease our counts per minute for strontium at about 5 inches away from the surface, down almost background levels. But as the student moves closer into the surface, you can see that the meter will respond accordingly, increasing the count rate until I'm almost at contact. That will give me my maximum count rate. Now again, as the student moves the probe away from that designated area, we can go ahead and go back to background levels by pressing this button on the control unit. And there we go, we're back at background levels. Now one of the other advantages of this is as I move in and I go ahead and increase my contamination level accordingly back up to the 5,000 counts, is that if the student were to turn the probe, you can see that it is reinforcing the basics that my probe needs to be looking down onto the surface. As I move away, again, I will decrease it down to background levels again. This provides real positive training for the student in that they can really emulate the response of the probe to a surface. The other part is that the instructor may not always see the student going ahead, and the instructor may not always know at what distance that probe is from the surface, so that for it to automatically gauge that distance and update the count rate accordingly is a real advantage over competing systems. And again, it's based on this transducer-based proximity locator that works with our training control unit to automatically update count rates based on distances and sending that information to a real meter for readout on the display.